Hey guys, thanks for joining us for this third episode in Season 4 of Good Questions with Cameron Dole. Special guests on this episode include singer-songwriter Ryne Brashear. Got a new song to talk about, Better with a Buzz, that is available everywhere. We'll also talk with actor, singer, songwriter Jet Jurgensmeyer. Has a couple of new releases and an upcoming project that we're going to take a chance to delve into. If you would, please take the time to subscribe, comment, leave some feedback, and of course, share with your friends. Now, the pumpkin spice latte has hit Starbucks, but this is even more exciting. Now, a totally different orifice can enjoy those fall flavors. Pumpkin spice butt wipes are now a thing that exist. The company Dude Wipes is making them and calling them Dumpkin Spice Wipes. Now, according to the description, they're designed to, quote, keep your butt cozy with a pumpkin spice-inspired mix of clove, nutmeg, and other fall scents. They posted a picture of a pumpkin with the date 9/5/23 carved on it, so that is when they officially drop. But you can already get them on Amazon. Now, it is actually something Dude Wipes joked about doing a few years back. They posted a fake photo of a pumpkin spice butt wipe in 2019, and I guess corporate decided the world was finally ready for the real thing. All right, guys, our next guest on the podcast, and from an area of the country that I know fairly well. They're in the Kentucky area, the Louisville, Bowling Green area. Ryne Brashear with us today. And first off, Ryne, it's a pleasure to visit with you, and looking forward to get to know you a little better, brother.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Now, first off, I always start on a first visit. Where did music start for you? When did music really trigger something for you?
It's been in my family. Like, my family's very musical, but that didn't do it for me. Like, my mom and dad always sang in church. But I remember my first moment, I was like, hey, I think I want to try music, was Leonard Skinner was playing on the Old Gray Whistle Test on TV, and they were playing Sweet Home Alabama. I was like, that's pretty cool. And I asked my dad, who played guitar and sang in bands up until I think right around I was born, and then he quit. I think I was 2, I think, whenever he decided to stop playing every weekend with his band. Mm-hmm. And I asked him, I said, can you play that? And I said, can you teach me how to play it? And he said, no. He's like, I don't know how. And so I started taking guitar lessons, and he had an old white Fender Strat that was laying in a case somewhere that my mom had got him for a birthday present or a Christmas present. I don't think he might have played it once or twice. And so that kind of became, what I learned on, and which great first guitar, very lucky. And of course, I later found out, Ed King played that iconic riff on a Strat, so that was pretty cool. And I've loved Skinner ever since. But that was my point of I think I want to try music and see what it's like. And I played baseball my whole life up until high school, and once I started music in 7th grade, that's when I saw that video. I was in 7th grade, and once I saw that, it slowly kind of started taking the place of baseball. So once I got to my senior year, I was like, I just want to go play music. I don't even want to play baseball anymore. So
that's cool. Now, what was the music scene like for you growing up? I mean, I know you've got Louisville there, not too far away. And what was the music scene for somebody that has the dream, not really sure where to go with it, if you will?
Well, growing up, we had my first band I was in was a Metallica cover band.
Nice.
We didn't set out to be a Metallica cover band, but just every song we learned was just like, hey, let's learn this song. It's a Metallica song. Hey, let's learn this song. It's a Metallica song too. And then we kind of ventured back out and learned Tuesday's Gone, the Metallica version, but this is Skinner. So we had we played at this golf course. It's Pine Valley Golf Course in Elizabethtown. And I think it was called Next Generation Musicians was the club. And we played there for probably a year, maybe two. Me and two other buddies, James and Jesse Terry, were my two buddies that I went to school with. They were brothers, and Jesse played drums, and James was my age, and he played guitar, and I played lead guitar. I didn't sing; I was too scared to sing. We didn't have a bass player. We just played three piece, two guitars and drums, and that was it. But we did that for a while, and then I moved to Lexington. A few years later, I tried college. That didn't really do it for me, and so I moved to Lexington, played a few gigs up there, and then I went on the road. I went to a music school up there called Lexington School for Recording Arts, and I went on the road and played bars and honky tonks all over with a band, and then that band broke up. So when I moved to Nashville, and I know that's a lot into like one scenario out there, but I moved to Nashville in 2014 or 15, I think, and that's when it really was like, okay, this is kind of the sink or swim. Like I've got to do this. I've got to get either better or I got to go home. Because once I moved to Nashville, I was like, these guys are really good.
Yeah.
And it was very, very humbling.
Yeah. Like, you talk about moving in 2014, 2015 timeframe. And I know you've heard this, that there's the 10-year plan. I mean, how true is that? And how hard is it for an early artist, early in your Nashville journey, if you will, to even get heard or seen, if you will?
Well, I played down on Broadway I still do, time to time, and I had a job. I just knew some people that knew some people, and I had a job playing down there before I even moved to town. And I remember going down there and trying out and getting up and setting in, and like, all right, well, we got some gigs for you. Can you start tomorrow? And I was like, yeah. We go find a hotel for tonight and an apartment the next day. So it was kind of a rush, but ever since then I started playing, and I was playing about 7 days a week.
Wow.
6-7 days a week, and that didn't last too long, but because you got to have a break every now and then. But right. It was great just to get to play that much and to be on stage that much and make a lot of mistakes and figure out how to correct them, and also make some money and stay afloat and pay your bills. So
now how much different was the 2015 version of Ryne as opposed to the 2023 new and improved version 9.0 maybe?
I don't know. I don't really want to think about that. Very, very different. A lot more green. I wouldn't say that I thought I knew it all, because I definitely did before I moved to town. I was like, I'll be good. I'm just as good as anybody. And then I moved down there, and it was just it was an eye-opening experience. I'm like, whoa, I'm as good as some, but I've got a long way to go. And it was it had helped that I'd been playing in bars for a couple of years before that with a band. That helped, and I went to music school and kind of had a little bit of background in the recording side of it, the live sound side of it, so that helped. But yeah, it was I still was, I don't know, I've heard some videos, and I was like, God, please turn that off. I don't want to hear that anymore.
Now you talk about the good times. We talk about the lean times as well. Everybody's always got somebody in their corner. Who's that person that's always been in your corner, and they'll shoot you straight whether it's what you want to hear or not?
Ooh. I've had a couple people, and the people that have kind of stayed, well, I guess I didn't really choose them. Well, I guess I did indirectly, but I've got a manager and mentor, Will Freebody. He's been there, and he's always pretty much shot me straight. My drummer, Aaron Holt, we met. I was filling in for somebody else that he normally plays with downtown, and I filled in probably 4 or 5 gigs, and we became buddies that way. It's the same way I'd say a lot of people, kind of network down here. You show up to a gig where you don't know anybody, and then you might have a lifelong friend after that. It's just how it works sometimes. And he was one that we got along pretty good. And he told me, I think he did it in a nice way, like corrected me on something. I was like, thanks, man. And I appreciated it. And because I'll take the first one, that was probably my dad. My dad's always been very honest with me, like even when I didn't ask, like with baseball, with music, and I'm grateful for it now. At the time, I probably wasn't as grateful, but it's made me just better at whatever I've been doing, and because it made me mad, and then I would want to, I guess, prove him wrong, and indirectly, I did exactly what he probably wanted me to do. So probably my dad, got to put him in there too. But once me and Aaron, we started playing together, and I told him, I was like, man, like keep doing that. I said, that makes me better. And I said, I know I've got a lot to learn. I said, and I don't know what it is. I said, so that's like, you don't have to be mean about it, but you can tell me, like, hey, this doesn't sound very good. You need to do better on this. And then over the years, we've kind of both grown. We've written a lot together, so that helps there too. Because in a writing session, you can't. The gloves kind of got to come off. You got to tell somebody. Not every line is a winner, and not every idea is a winner. So you just kind of got to throw it out there and expect it to either get like good, like 2 thumbs up, or get shot down. So, and if it gets shot down, you just got to keep going and think of another one. So, and we're pretty good at, like just kind of cutting out all the, I guess, BS, and you're like, no, man, that's not good. Let's move on. We're like, okay, cool. So, but pretty much everybody that I play with now, James Cook's playing bass for me, and he's another one that's pretty quick. Like, hey, man, let's try that again. Cause that doesn't, it's pretty good the way they do it. Like, it's just want it to be as good as it can, and that's all I can ask for. So
to have the same vision. That's something to be said, right?
Yeah, everybody's on the same page, and that's good. That's rare.
All right. Now the new single, "Better with a Buzz." Tell us, Ryne, where did this one come from for you?
This one came. I wrote this in 2020 with Tyler King, and we got together. We were just writing. I was just writing as much as I could. I didn't have anything else to do, so I was writing, and it wasn't really a song that I was like, I'm going to write this for me. I wasn't right. I was just writing for, if it's a girl song, I'll write it. If it's a duet, I'll write it. If it's a great guy song, but somebody else wants to cut it, I'll do that too. So we just got together and we were writing, and we had a different title. I think it was like Better with a Beer, Better with Something. And that we looked it up, and that had already been done. And we looked up Better with a Buzz, and we couldn't really find much on it. So I wrote Better with a Buzz. And it was one of those songs that came out pretty quick. There's a lot of honesty in it, and one of the lines is, raking leaves and cutting grass is better with a buzz. And I've just seen, I've been there, and I hate mowing my yard half the time, so that helps. And but it was a really fun song to write, and it just came at a time when I think I wrote about 20 songs over that year, and that was one of my favorites. And I thought, well, I'll cut this if nobody else wants to. I think it's a great song, and we started playing it live, and people dug it. I'm like, well, I got a room full of strangers that are digging this song, so surely it's a good one. Because I mean, that's a pretty good test when you can play a song that nobody's heard, and you can tell people get up and leave or something. Like, all right, scratch that one off the list. Go back to the drawing board on that one. But
now, you talked about writing that in 2020, and how 2020 shut everything down, changed everybody's goals and all that stuff. Now moving forward after 2020, I mean, how much did you grow that maybe you didn't realize that year?
I grew a lot as a writer, because that's really all I could do. But it made me appreciate playing, downtown and on the road. I was playing a lot and just staying busy. And then when we came off, of course, like you said, it shut everything down. it was really nice to just not have to go play that much. I was like, oh, this is great. I can do something else. And then, but when we went back to playing, I was very rusty, singing, playing, remembering words, and so it made me appreciate, you know, what I was doing, because you get burnt out doing the same old thing every day, and it just gave me a new appreciation for that. Um, but I never really stopped trying to. Ever since I've been in town, I've been trying to move forward and progress. And whenever I get to like sitting still and like, it just makes me uncomfortable. So I always want to try to keep getting better and keep progressing along and getting music out there and getting it heard and getting better at playing and all that kind of stuff. And whenever it's not moving forward, I get kind of aggravated, according to my wife.
Right. So. Aggravated, Ben. I think that's probably the nicest verb I've heard said about such a situation. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, Ryne, as things have opened back up, if folks want to check out upcoming dates for you to be out there, check out the music, merchandise, I know a little bit of everything. Where's the best place for folks to catch up with everything, brother?
I got a website, rynebrashear.com, and then I'm mostly on Facebook, or not Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I got TikTok, but I know that's most people will send me a message on like Instagram or something like that. And I got merch on my website. I got some new merch coming in. I got some Better with the Buzz koozies on the way, so those will be here soon. But we play every weekend down at Whiskey River. When we're not on the road, we play down there at 2 o'clock, 2 to 6, Friday and Saturday.
That's cool.
So if anybody's in town on the weekend, they can sometimes catch us there.
If you're in town.
Usually I'll get a message, and that's when like I'll be going out of town, and I'll have like 5 people hit me up like, hey, I'm coming in town this weekend. I'm like, well, I'm not going to be there. Sorry.
Your timing is terrible. Well, Ryne, it has been truly a privilege to visit with you today, brother. I got another Kentucky brother now, and
yeah,
I look forward to seeing you grow as an artist, and also hopefully catching up again real soon, brother.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Now, I'm not sure what to say about this other than it's just glorious. A 58-year-old woman from Knoxville, Tennessee, named Tammy Manis, is now an official world record holder for the longest mullet. Now, it's down to her ankles and measures an impressive 5 feet 8 inches. Now, it could actually be longer now. That's just what it measured when she entered the USA Mullet Championships Fee-Mullet division last year. Now, she somehow placed second in that. Now, Guinness didn't have an official record for longest mullet at that point, but added it soon after. Tammy applied when she heard, but didn't know she owned the record until she got the official certificate in the mail. Now, if you want to steal the record from her, it's going to take some real dedication. She's been growing it out for over 33 years. She started her mullet in the mid-'80s, but foolishly decided to cut it in 1989 and says that she immediately regretted that decision. She started growing it out again the next year and never looked back. She considers February 9th, 1990 to be her mullet's birthday. She keeps it braided most of the time so it doesn't get snagged and stuffs, and she rides motorcycles and has to tuck it into the front of her pants so it doesn't get caught in the wheels. Now, the record for men is a little more attainable, by the way, but it's kind of pathetic in comparison. A guy in Ohio had a mullet that measures 3 feet 3 inches long. All right, guys, our next guest on the podcast, singer, actor, songwriter. I think he's got a few little slashes behind his name as well. Jet Jurgensmeyer with us. And first off, Jet, it's a privilege to have the chance to visit with you, brother.
It's amazing to be here. I'm glad we were able to make this work. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Now, Jet, tell us what was first for you. What'd you fall in love with first? Was it the music, or was it the being in front, being the ham?
I think I really just fell in love with entertainment as a whole, because I grew up on stage. I started performing on stage when I was 3. And so it's really kind of all I've known. Then I started acting, at the very old and mature age of 4. And so really entertainment's all I've ever known. And I really do love it. I couldn't pick one. I like making people smile. I like making people try to have a better day. Maybe forget about whatever it is that they're going through for a small portion of their day.
Now, what was the first break for you? When and was it being pushed by mom and dad, or was it something that you were like, Mom and Dad, we got to do this?
It wasn't so much as push from mom and dad. It was more so support. We had some friends that we're still very close with, the Mandrell sisters, the Mandrell family, yep. Barbara Mandrell, Louise, Arlene. It was their mother who told my parents, hey, why don't y'all try acting with him? And so they were like, sure. Clearly, I never meet a stranger and I don't shut up, so I'm perfect for this industry. And so I started doing it, and I really did like it. I was like, man, I get to meet new people and do just like what I get to perform as a job. That's pretty cool. So my parents did a very good job of making sure that I stayed grounded and having a strong faith and a strong family background. But then also I grew up, being very professional and grew up kind of falling in love with it myself. So it wasn't so much as them pushing it. It was more so them supporting it.
Now the music, the acting, do they battle against each other, or do they work hand in hand? Or is it, it depend on the day?
It definitely depends on the day. Everybody has a bad day every now and again. But I think they work pretty well hand in hand. I mean, I really wouldn't have one without the other. If you think about it, because if I wasn't continuing to be an actor, I probably wouldn't have, got back into music, when I got like my first good guitar, my first little Taylor, and started playing that when I was like 10. So I wouldn't have one without the other. So to say, one's better, I couldn't say that, or which one I love more. I love them both. They both are different. They both challenge me in different ways. They both make me want to pull my hair out sometimes. And they both have those ups and downs. That you'll find that in every industry. You'll find that no matter what you're doing. If you work at a gas station, you're going to have some crappy customers coming in. I can only imagine. That's a job that I would never want to have, because I couldn't put up with people like that. So it's always just those ups and downs. But they definitely complement each other. They've turned me, acting's really helped me with how I am when I'm on stage performing in front of people. Being a musician really challenges me to getting comfortable of trying things out of my comfort zone, playing genres I'm not used to, playing songs that I've heard 2 times, but somebody drops a 10 in the tip jar and is like, play this. And I'm like, all right, I got you.
I got this.
So they're definitely, I think they're complementary to one another.
Now, for you, in getting into character, for you, do you look at that kind of like the process of songwriting and getting into the meat and potatoes of a songwrite too?
It definitely does have, like I said, they're complementary. So they definitely have their similarities. And as far as, just making sure that you're in the right headspace, the right mindset for it. What I try to do when it comes to songwriting is, if I know my co-writers going in, if it's not like a new one where I'm writing with new people, if I know that one of my co-writers is typically someone who's always got a cool hook and always got some lyrics that they've been dying to write to, but have no idea what progression or melody to go with, I'm going to try to bring a melody and a chord progression into that. I think the same goes for acting. When it comes to what the show or the movie needs, it's like, all right, well, let me try to add that with my character. If that fits my character, I'm going to try to add that element that the show needs. So I think it really just takes sitting down with the director or the producer or the writer and being like, all right, what do y'all want from this? What do you guys want me to bring you from this character's perspective? And I think I think that's something people can do with everything in life. Take at it, how can you make yourself original? How can you make yourself stand out? What can you do that really sets you apart from other people?
That's right. That's right. Now tell us the single Falling To. Where did this one come from, and how excited are you to get feedback on your personal work as well?
Well, first of all, I'm very excited. So far, the feedback has been pretty good. I'm sure there's some YouTube comments way in the depths of the music video that's complaining about something. It's like, oh, that guitar, I can't handle the effect that the reverb's too much on there. There's always somebody.
Right.
You can't please everybody. But so far it's been amazing. Everybody has been just so welcoming of the song and been able to relate to the story. Everybody's been young, everybody's been in love, everybody's fallen for someone, thought they were the one. So I think that the song really tells that story, and the music video does it as well. When it came up, you asked kind of how it came about. I sat down to write with Kyle, Brian, and Pearson, who I wrote the song with, and for an hour and a half, we had nothing. We had no ideas. We were throwing wet noodles against the wall. That's how I describe it. Throwing wet noodles against the wall, seeing which one sticks. None of them were sticking. Nothing was working. And Kyle just kind of started, out of pure boredom, playing, the simplest chord progression known to man, 1, 6, 4, 5. Yep. And Brian kind of mumbled what ended up being the first 2 lines of the song. And I sat up in my seat real quick, and I was laid back on Pearson's couch. I was like, oh my gosh, guys, we got nothing. And Brian sang those lines, and I sat up and I said, can we sit on that for like 20 minutes and see whatever that was? That was pretty cool. And about an hour and a half, 2 hours later, we ended up having Fallen To. And it came out of nowhere. I randomly played it for my parents one day, and they said, you should record that. That sounds really cool. And so here we are, just a handful of months later, and it's out there. It's getting played on the radio, which is a wild thing to think.
And what's it like, the process now with social media and YouTube and all those as well? Does it make a release easier? Does it maybe add a little bit more pressure, especially with the following that you already have?
I definitely think it adds pressure, but it varies. That's a great question, and I am like the worst person to try and answer it because I'm awful about social media. I post on it and I stay active on it, and I answer DMs. So everybody, please, if you like the song, reach out. But I'm awful. I'm not someone that sits on social media. I don't know the algorithm. I don't know what's popular. I don't know the trending hashtags. I don't know if you're supposed to put hashtags, too many, not enough. What am I supposed to do? So it's always changing. There's always somebody that's talking about it. So I definitely think it adds a little bit of pressure for me personally, because leading up to Falling To, it was like posting every day about the song. And not only, the pressure of having to make each post a little bit more interesting or maybe tease a little bit of the song, but also the pressure that comes from now people have heard a part of it. Now people have heard all this hype about it. You've been talking about it. Now it's out there. What if nobody actually likes it? That's a stress for every song. I imagine that was a stress for Elvis back before social media was a thing. But I mean, there's that stress of not only is it not going to live up to the quote unquote hype around it, but also, if people don't like it, that's me, because this is my story. I wrote the song, I produced the song, I sang the song, I performed the song live. And now if nobody likes it, it's like, man, that was awkward. So there definitely is a little bit of stress. Yeah, exactly. They don't like me. So there is a little bit of stress that gets added to it, but everybody, I'm very fortunate. I truly believe that I have the best supporters out there. They are just the most heartwarming and faithful people and supportive. And so I really think that they did a great job with when the song came out, posting about it and supporting it and streaming it meant the world to me.
That's cool. Now, aside from the releases, what's the live performance for you, getting up and performing live now as opposed to, say, the first time you had the opportunity to get up and play?
The same high that it has always been every time you get up there. It's funny, on stage is where I think, or when I'm in front of people is where I think I actually sound the best, which is really interesting. I'm my worst critic. So if I record myself performing at home in this little studio, I think I sound completely awful. And then I post that stuff on Instagram and I'm like, what am I doing? This is what? But then I get in front of, 3 people and I just play an original song and I'm like, oh, that actually felt pretty good. That bridge came in right. Yeah, I hit that right. That sounded all right. So I love performing in front of people. It's what I grew up doing. We talked about that for a bit. It's what I've always loved. It's what I originally fell in love with, was entertaining people. And so I absolutely love doing it. I love, this year I started playing some gigs on Broadway, downtown Nashville.
Yeah.
And that's fun because you get just the melting pot that Nashville is, because you're not just getting, George Strait and Luke Combs requested. You're getting people you've never heard of. But I go back and then I sit in here and I turn my speakers on and I listen to the music people requested that I'd never heard of. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm a fan now. And now I learned that song. So the next time somebody comes in and requests that obscure artist, I got that in my back pocket.
Next time, if I see you live in person, I'm going to request BTS and I'm going to want a dance move with it.
Oh my goodness.
Just saying.
Oh man. I will say their song Dynamite is actually pretty fun. That song makes me get a little jumping and jiving. Light it up like dynamite.
That's good stuff. Now, Jet, what other projects you got on the horizon?
Ooh, that's a good one. Well, I have a new album that's in the works right now, and we are, this close to having that thing done. And I'm really shooting for like the start of 2024 to release that. So that's very exciting. We have 4 songs completely done. We're going into the studio, I believe, next month, doing 4 more. And I personally would like to have 10 songs on that album. So I'll keep you all updated on that. I like to usually save room for 2 songs that I might write last minute that are like, this has to be on that album, because that happened with the last one. That's why the last album had 13 songs. It was only supposed to have 12. And I wrote the 12th. And then the next day I wrote what ended up being the 13th. Yeah. And it just happened to fit me. And I was like, this needs to be on there. So I'm always going to end up leaving like 2 spaces for those last minute songs. I do have a new single that's going to be coming out next month, which I'm very excited for. I'll be posting about that on social media. I want to say it's around the 14th, September 14th. I don't quote me on that. So I'll let you all know about that. I'll be posting about it. I'm very, very excited about that. That song, this next song is going to be something that's just a little bit different, shows my inspiration from various genres that aren't what I kind of grew up listening to. So like this one was really inspired by Billy Joel. So that's something that's a little bit different. And I'm really, really excited for people to hear that. And I can't believe the support that's been behind Falling too. And I hope that it carries over to the next one.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Jet, I always want to make sure and let our listeners and our viewers know, even though you don't post all the time like you're supposed to, where the best place to find you? Oh, it's all good. I'm just as bad. Website, socials, the music, where they can find everything, brother.
All of it, everything from X, not Twitter anymore, X, to TikTok, to my website. It's all under my name, Jet Jurgensmeyer. It's Jet with 1 T like a plane. Jurgensmeyer. If you just type in JUR, I'll pop up, because there's not many Jet Jurgensmeyers out there, believe it or not. It's not a super common name. So that's the easiest way to find me, easiest way to reach out to me. Shoot me a message on Instagram, comment on the posts. I sit through there and I read all the comments and try to reply to as many as I can, because everybody's just so awesome. So please reach out.
That's good stuff. Well, Jet, again, thank you so much. Glad we finally got this put together. I appreciate you working around the schedule as well. And
of course, man. Thank you.
If you ever make it down to Southwest Oklahoma, let's catch up, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Cameron. I cannot wait to do it again.
Again, thanks for joining us for this episode of Good Questions with Cameron Dole. But before you go, have another story we wanted to share with you from around the world. Now, this is just a unique level of dumb. Cops in Nebraska released audio from March where a guy called 911 to report that someone was driving the wrong direction down a highway. But it turned out the guy missed one minor detail. He was the one driving the wrong way. He told 911 that a truck almost hit him head on and nearly ran him off the road, so they sent a cop out to stop whoever it was. But when the cop eventually caught up with the wrong way car, the guy who called 911 was sitting in the driver's seat. By that point, he'd realized his mistake. When the cop asked why he got pulled over, he said, "Yeah, because I was on the wrong side of the road." He added that he must have missed an exit. But the real reason was he'd been doing some drinking. Now, they arrested him when it turned out that he was over the legal limit. Again, if you ever have a comment, question, or anything else you'd like to know about the podcast, you can hit me up on the socials, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook. Just look for me at The Cameron Dole. Of course, if you have a special guest idea, email me, gqwithcam@gmail.com. Again, thanks to our good friend Brandon Allen coming up with our theme music. We're going to let him play us out and hope you guys have a great rest of your week.